what is data visualization, principles of data visualization, install Tableau and public Tableau. So I'll also take you through what are the different products of Tableau available and which we can use. What are the Tableau start page? So how the dashboard looks like and everything, that all I'll explain here. Tableau data source, that uh, what are the different data source from where you can extract data and bring into the Tableau environment and then use and work on that data. What are the components and terminologies used in Tableau? I'll cover that. Then show me panel and what are the different data types as per Tableau. Now, so what is data visualization? Data visualization is representation or creation of data into a graphical representation. Okay. So if I will have to take an example of Big Basket or any other departmental store like Big Bazaar, the kind of data on a daily basis that they deal with is humongous. It's in million of rows. Okay, if they have to uh, collate a month data, come to a conclusion where they want to take any decision. In that terms, it is very difficult to make a decision based on Excel sheet. But what data visualization does is that it takes all your information and present it in a graphical form. So what are the different ways how you can communicate through data visualization? So communicate information clearly and efficiently using graphs, plots, statistical graphics. Okay, there are different types of charts which you can make. Then numerical data may be encoded using dots, line, bar, visually communicate a quantitative message. Okay, and it makes complex data more accessible and understandable. So exactly the way here I gave you an example of Big Basket or Big Bazaar. So they have large amount of data with them. So to take a business decision, it could be from any department, from a simple decision of how much merchandise a particular department should buy. That decision, apart from that, that also depends on the kind of data you capture here. So regionality, seasonality, all these plays a very important role. Okay, so you have to ensure that, so companies have to ensure while doing data presentation, they have to consider all these things in picture. So it's a complete picture. So that is the example part I wanted to explain, so that why we use data visualization, that part is clear. Okay, so what is data visualization? If I have to put it in a simple term, it is a graphical representation of your data. Okay, so why visualization? Our so exactly, our visual system is extremely well built for visual analysis. So we as humans, if we see a Excel sheet with millions of rows of data, numbers, we get overwhelmed. But data is represented, if the similar data is represented, if the similar data is represented in graphical form, our brains work in a very different function. We can analyze how the pattern is, what is the pattern. So that's why it is very important to have a, so all these big companies, so our brains are extremely good at tasks such as pattern matching, edge detection, and shape recognition. So for example, in India, we know if something is represented with red, we know it represents somewhere it is representing a negative connotation from business perspective. So definitely it means a loss. But when it is in green, we understand that it is representing profit. So it is very important. So it is very important that you understand why visualization is important from a business perspective. The last factor, pattern matching, is a key when it comes to discussing the benefits of presenting information visually.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Shuchita, I'm sorry to interrupt, but have you shared your PPT or you are still in the roadmap? I
No,
mean,
no,
it's
I am sharing my presentation. Can you see the slide?
no, I cannot see the slide. Actually, it's still just on mod one, introduction to data visualization. This page of computer. The PPT is not open.
Okay, I am sharing the presentation. Let me just share again, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Can you see the presentation now?
It's the PPT is not yet open. I think it's in the process.
Okay. Okay.
Cannot see your PPT still.
Yes, let me just share the.
Yeah,
Can you see
yeah,
it now?
it's now visible.
Okay, great. So I am gonna start with the agenda. So okay,
Yeah,
okay, guys. So
slowly. Now
yeah,
it's better. Yeah,
great, great.
yeah. Please continue.
Sure, sure. So, guys, today's agenda, what I'm going to cover is define data visualization. What is data visualization? What are the principles? And Tableau is the software through which we practice data visualization. How does Tableau environment look? I'm going to show you that. How is the dashboard? Then Tableau, from what all sources you can get data in Tableau environment and work on that. Then components and technologies in terminologies in Tableau, how show panel works, so and what are the different data types. Okay, moving on. Now, what is data visualization? So data visualization is a graphical representation of data. So why do we need data visualization? See, the first and the foremost thing is that we as human, if we see millions of data, millions of row of data, we get overwhelmed. And in that, we cannot come to a conclusion that what the data is saying, because data tells a story. So why do we need visualization? So that we could infer that story from the data. Okay, and how do we communicate that through data visualization? So it communicate in terms of graphics, in terms of different graphs, plots, or statistical graphics. Okay, and so numerical data may be encoded using dots, line, bars to visually communicate a quantitative message. Okay, so when I say quantitative message, so it could easily define. So if I am going to take the example again of big basket of big bazaar, so on a daily basis they have huge number of transactions happening. So for a small item, maybe it could be a tea, coffee, that kind of item, it is important to understand what kind of demand would be required. So here, even for forecasting, data visualization can be used and is used. Okay, and definitely it makes complex data more accessible and understandable. So if you use you see an Excel sheet with hundreds and thousands of data of from different region, how people are buying coffee, you will not have any conclusion, right? You will just see the Excel sheet and get overwhelmed. But if the same data is represented in a graphic form, and maybe if it represented in saying, showing you the consumption of north, south, east, west, then maybe as per our understanding, we'll come to know that South is the region where coffee is used heavily. Okay, so how this would help? This will help companies to take a decision for their merchandise as well. You know, in particular, big bazaar like company would decide, okay, in South region I need to provide more coffee. So what this will help them to? This will help business in many ways, not in one way. Okay, that's why. So if in a very simple word I have to tell you, and one thing that you should remember, what is data visualization? Data visualization is representation of your data in a graphical format. Okay, you just remember this one line. Now, why do we need visualization? So as humans, our visual system is extremely well built for visual analysis. Okay, so again, if I will say, if you will see a Excel sheet with rows of data, columns of data, will get overwhelmed. Okay, what is this? I don't understand. But the same information is shown in a pie chart or a graph. We can come to a conclusion very easily. Okay, we can see this is the percentage of coffee consumed in north, this is the percentage of coffee consumed in south, and this is the percentage in east and west region. And then it could be further bifurcated by cities, region, and everything. That is a segmentation part. So then second, there is a huge amount of data that arrives into our brain through eyes. So always it is said that visual learning and visual understanding is very important. We see through our eyes and then our brain processes it in much faster ways. Okay, and similarly, our brains are extremely good at task of pattern matching, edge detection, and shape recognition. Anything which has a similar shape. So, for example, if you'll remember, when we were kids, we used to understand shapes: square, circle, triangle. So that's how our brain are processed. These our brain process very well in this when we see at different patterns and colors. Okay, the last factor, pattern matching, is the key when it comes to discussing the benefits of presenting information visually. So we know, so if our graph is going high and then it's going down, we understand that there was a spike and now it's going down because of certain reasons. But if we look at an Excel sheet, we will not understand all these things, right? So that's why data visualization is very important to take the right data driven decision for the businesses. Okay, typically the important message in data are represented in patterns and patterns violations, trends, gaps, outliers. This is the interesting stuff. That is what we go to data hoping to find. So trends. So if, for example, if there is something which is on a rise right now, if I have to give you an example, um, let's take a very common example of Maggie. We all eat Maggie. So Maggie had tried to launch different variants, right? But the Maggie, normal Maggie, which was there, the trend for that Maggie consumption has always been there. Even if it's atta noodles or any other kind of Maggie, the trend for normal Maggie has always been on rise. So when you put your numbers in a graphical format, then you can compare different variations. So what are the gaps? What are the gaps? So for example, even if I'll take big bazaar example again, maybe there are gaps between the products. The shelves are empty and the products are not there, and there is a lot of demand. So that gap can be identified through data visualizations. Outliers, there are certain products which are kept there and they are not selling. So all these things can be done through data visualization in a very effective manner, and it could lead to a positive ROI in the long term. Okay, so that's why data visualization is very important. Then there are certain principles of data visualization that we all should remember. We don't perceive absolutes, we instead we perceive differences. So exactly what does this means? That we try and find out what are the differences in the data, how what are the gaps that we need to fulfill. Okay, so that is one of the major aspect of data visualization. So, and we do not and cannot attend to everything we see. So even in a company like Big Bazaar, there are certain there are million of products that they have. So you cannot look at everything. There has to be a business objective to it. Then from that perspective you have to see. Okay, in order to filter huge amount of data that we receive through our eyes, the eye is drawn to inconsistencies rather than common patterns. Okay, so again, it is a very normal phenomena that we see inconsistencies, and those gaps only help us to come out with a solution to solve a business problem. Okay, differences drive attention, similarity leads to viewer to ignore things. Again, so if you will see, there's a lot of difference in your data. There are certain years where, if you're comparing it from this year to last year, even in terms of coffee consumption, so you will see that if there are a lot of differences in the data and there is a drastic rise or a drastic fall, that's where your eyes is going to get attention, your brain is going to catch that, okay, why there is this drastic difference, okay, which you cannot see in an Excel sheet. Okay, our eyes are drawn towards similar patterns again. So it will give you a graphical representation. So then you have to, from an business perspective, understand why it is happening. It will give you a graphical representation. So how, it will tell you, but why it is happening, that you have to figure out. So that's why it is very important to understand the market, the seasonality, the regionality. It is very important to understand that aspect also, apart from the technical aspects. Now, this is a very, very good example of bumps, bruises, and breaks. So this is is it easy to draw insights from this visualization? This is a rugby player, so it is showing the kind of injuries, breaks that a rugby player can go through while his career. How easy it is to just figure out which is the most sensitive area of his body, which is the most sensitive part of his body. It is very clearly mentioned that knees have got injured almost 300 times. Okay, then second number you can see is ankle. Okay, then third you can see is upper leg. Okay, then I think then it is shoulder, then is your head, and then is your foot. So what kind of decision can a company or a team make basis this graph? What kind of decision a company make basis this graph? Or even if you educate a player, how he can be precautious. Or even in a market, a company who is trying to launch certain products which are related to rugby players, what how can it help them? Okay, so in all these three scenarios, it will help a company to take a better decision. For example, even if there is a team, a rugby team who wants their players to, who wants to protect their players, so they could uh, get in touch with a company and get manufactured certain kind of knee pads which will protect their knees, certain kinds of clothing or coverage which will help them protect the upper legs or ankle, a different kind of shoes or socks which will help them minimize the injuries to these areas which are prone to get injured very quickly and very often. Okay, so if this information I would have shown you in an Excel sheet, we would have not come to a conclusion like this, that knee is the most prone area and then ankle, then upper leg. And even while player they are playing, they can ensure that they take care of these parts. Similarly, so this is a very, very good example to show what a visualization can do to your business and how it can help you to take better data driven decisions. Okay, moving on now. So, goal of data visualization. The goal of data visualization is to tell a story without telling lies. Okay, so as I said earlier, that the data they have a story within themselves. So if there are millions of rows of data, it has a story to tell. But we as humans, we get overwhelmed with that data, and we cannot analyze that data. Okay, so what visualization help? Visualization help us to convert that data into a form where we can tell a story with our data. It influences decisions. Definitely, if we can clearly see that there is a particular gap, or there is something that could be changed, it influences business decisions, and it leads to uh, it leads to better decision making from a management perspective as well. Encourage the eye to make comparisons. So very small example again, if you will see an Excel sheet, you might not notice the difference of seasonality or regionality. So how consumer behave in north is very different how consumer behave in south. Okay, even in stores like Shopper Stop and Lifestyle, the collection is very different. So all these decisions, you need a tool like Tableau to help you to make these decisions. Okay, so that's how it encourage the comparisons. So visual encoding of information allows humans to process more information. Exactly the same point again, that if you see something visually, you tend to get your brain tends to process it in a better and a faster manner. Okay. Then making invisible visible in visualization. Guys, this is very, very important point. Making invisible visible in visualization. So there might be a very small thing that we might not pay attention and we just miss on it. So if I have to give you a very small example of any particular product, so we even it could happen within a city or within different cities. There could be a particular product which might not sell well in that region, okay, in that area, but the similar product might have a good demand in other area or a region. Okay, but because we don't have specific tools to find out these problems, that whole product can go for waste and your retail space will go for waste, because that product is not moving out of your shelf. And while if I'll compare another store where that product is on high demand and it's out of stock, and there the store is losing on the sales. So these two examples, this one example where two different situations, completely opposite situations, can be nullified if there is proper data visualization tool and we can identify what is invisible and it could be made visible. Then the stock from this particular store can be transferred to another store where it could sell that product, and this store which was wasting his retail area with hoarding this stock could keep stock which people from that vicinity want to buy. Okay, so it shows us the problems which we don't even think can happen, or possibly show the solution for the problems which are existing. Okay, so present many attributes in small space. Again, a graphical representation will show you a story in a in one single chart or in two different charts. Okay, now Edward Tufte, he is the father of data visualization. Okay, so there are certain rules, graphical integrity rules, which he came up with. The first and the foremost rule is to minimize the lie factor. When I say lie factor, it's not that a data visualizer or you are trying to tell a lie, but sometimes the way we perceive basis on the area we live in, the country we are, the city we belong to, that we have a certain perception of things in our mind, how things works. For example, in India, if you see a red color, that notifies or represents loss. But if we see green color, it notifies or represents profits. Okay. But if we in China, it's completely opposite. So there, red means profit and green means what? It means loss. So we have to consider all these factors. So as a data visualizer, your responsibility is to understand not only the data, but for which region you are trying to present your information. Okay, so that's why minimize the lie factor. And now another example I'll give you. In We all know we are in midst of COVID situation. So if I will show you a graph, I'll show you a graphical representation where the COVID cases are going up. Okay, will we infer that as a positive graph? No, it will not be a positive graph, right? If the COVID cases are going up and I show you a line chart and where the graph has a steep going high up and it comes to a steep and it's still going up, 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 are we going to consider that as a positive upward trend? No, that is not a positive or upward trend. So while you're making a graphical representation, you're preparing charts on Tableau, it is very important that you ensure that your lie factor is minimized. Okay. Second, use consistent scales. So when I say consistent scales, that for example, uh, in terms of units, use that consistently. So it should not be that one measuring units you are using, one is kilos and one is grams. So you have to nullify that difference so that you can come at a consistent level. Okay. Then standardize monetary units. So even so, if you're comparing data of India and US, then you have to standardize the units. Okay. Present data in a context. So if your data information that you are presenting, it's not helping the management or the business decision makers in any way, then that data is not of use for anyone, right? It should not just a random chart showing random graphs. It has to be well thought of. What are the gaps that it is showing? What are the solutions that you are trying to tell through your data? It represents a story. Okay, so show the data in increase data and increase ink ratio. So again, you show the data in a way that it tells a story. It should have a crux to it. It should not be just random pie charts and graphics. Okay. Now, so Tafri's principle for analytical design: comparison. Show comparison and contrast differences. So if you want to make your point through graphical representation, you can show a like to like comparison. What is a like to like comparison? So you can compare this year's data with the last year's data. Okay. Then it will give you a like to like comparison, an apple to apple comparison, that how things are performing now and how they were performing in past. Okay. Casuality, show casuality mechanism, explanation and systematic structure. So if you could find a particular pattern, okay, while you're preparing the charts and graphics, if you can find a particular pattern or a trend, then you should definitely highlight it. Then multivariate analysis, show multivariate data, that is, show more than one or two variables. Okay, it is important to check your data from different angles as well. integration of evidence. Completely integrate words, number, images, and diagrams. So try to give a complete picture. Okay, just do not give it from one aspect. Try to give it a complete picture. Documentation thoroughly describe the evidence, so that's why it is a storytelling process. So whatever you're from a technical aspect, you learn Tableau, but you need to have a thorough understanding of the business environment and the consumer as well, so that you could tell your story in a proper manner. Content analytical representations ultimately stand or fall depending on the quality, relevance, and integrity of their content. Okay, so if you are very strong with your graphical representation, then you should also spend time to tell your story in a very crisp and precise manner. Okay, now, so guys, that was all about data visualization. Okay, so now coming to Tableau. What is Tableau? Tableau is a software. It was founded in 2003 with by these three gentlemen, Pat, Tristan, and Chris. Okay, it is a data visualization tool. Tableau is the only business intelligence platform that turns your data into insights and drive action. Okay, so I've been explaining this point through different examples of the common businesses that we all use on a daily basis. Okay, so it is only business intelligence tool. So can you understand the emphasis on business intelligence, how it is helping you to turn your data into insights that drive actions. Okay, then demand for new and innovative ways for organization to view the ever increasing amount of available data continues to grow. Yes, that is a very big factor that Tableau has been on rise, because we are capturing data everywhere. The companies are capturing data everywhere. And if only capturing the data will not help any company in any form until unless they are making the data into, converting into a insightful information and then taking decisions. So that's why Tableau is a business intelligence tool, software, or platform, however you want to refer to it. Okay, it helps you to take better business decisions. Data discovery is a newer niche area of business intelligence that concentrates on visual and graphical analytics as opposed to more traditional text-based reporting. Okay, so this is slightly a newer concept from a business intelligence perspective, but a very effective way compared to what it was earlier from a traditional text-based reporting. Okay, so that's a bit introduction about Tableau. So always remember that it's a business intelligence tool, platform, or software. Okay. Now, why Tableau? Okay. So Tableau is leader position in Gartner Magic Quadrant since 7 years. So Gartner is an organization which conducts a lot of surveys and quizzes and understand what is performing, how is it performing in the world. Gartner Inc. is the world leading information technology research and advisory company. Okay, so it is coming from very strong source and it has been a market leader from last 7 years. Okay, conduct surveys on tools and technologies that are present in the market. Now I'm going to show you a chart. Okay, so this is a Gartner Magic Quadrant for 2019. Okay, Magic Quadrant for analytics and business intelligence platform. So can you see Tableau here is on the leaders board, and from last 7 years it has retained its position. So some of the software they went to visionaries and the niche players and challengers. So Tableau consistently has maintained its spot at the leaders board. Now, now coming to Tableau, how to install Tableau desktop and Tableau Public. Okay. So I'll share this link in the chat window. So the link to install Tableau Desktop. I'll come to this slide later, but okay. Now coming here, so understanding different Tableau products. So we have Tableau Desktop. So Tableau Desktop is a paid version of Tableau. Okay, it is the authoring tool, create charts, maps, and plots and views. So this is the main tool of Tableau Desktop, which all the companies are using. It's a paid version. You have to go and buy it online. Okay, this one. Okay, so it is a data visualization tool that helps us to create worksheets, dashboard, and stories. It's a paid version. Okay. Now, coming to Tableau Public. It is a free tool that allows anyone to connect to spreadsheet or file and create interactive data visualizations for the web. So again, it now here you can go to Tableau website. I'll show you the environment. Let me just explain it to you. You can go to Tableau website and you can download it for free of cost or Tableau Public. But definitely there would be certain features which are not available in Tableau Public and they are available in desktop. Now, Tableau Prep. What is Tableau Prep? By using Tableau Prep, we can perform, combine, shape, and clean data for analysis in Tableau. So many times what happens is that you might not have a proper data with you. The data is not cleaned. There are a lot of bugs in the data. There are a lot of empty rows in the data which you need to clean. So for that, you need Tableau Prep. Okay. Then Tableau Server. What is Tableau Server? It helps users to publish and share their data sources as an extract or live connection. Tableau Server allows to access interactive insights from anywhere. Now, you already have a Tableau desktop, but you need a Tableau server. It's a secured server. You need Tableau server to share your information with your colleagues, your business partner, or your clients. So in that you need Tableau server. Okay. And Tableau Online, it is an analytical platform fully hosted in cloud. Publish dashboard and share your discoveries with anyone. So again, so what is the difference between Tableau server and Tableau Online? They both are doing the same thing, but Tableau server is a secured network. It is a secured and it's a paid network. It is only within the group of people you want your data to be shared. So for that, you need a Tableau administrator to maintain that. But Tableau Online, it is a free service hosted on cloud, wherein you can share whatever information, whatever graphs you are presenting or making, you can share it on Tableau Online. Okay, so that is the biggest difference here. Then Tableau Reader is again a free desktop application that you can use to open and interact with data visualization built in Tableau desktop. So it's a very simple basic tool where it's act as a reader. It just open your files. Okay. So these are the different Tableau products available. These are the links. Going any further, let me share the link with you. And apart from that, there is a student version. So if any of you are interested in downloading student version, you can do that. It is a free for a year. Okay, so I'm gonna share the link in the chat window. Okay, I hope it is clear till here before I enter the Tableau environment. Okay, so this is the Tableau start page. The start page in Tableau is a central location from which you can do the following. I hope you can see my presentation. Is it visible? Okay. Can you guys see my presentation? Can you see the presentation? So I hope that you all can see my presentation. That's why I'm continuing. Okay. So what you can do on Tableau start page, you can connect your data, open your most recently used workbooks, discover and explore content produced by Tableau community. Okay, so this is your data connection. So you can connect data through different sources. Okay, and then there is your most recent open files. All your workbooks are here. And then whatever Tableau community is doing in terms of whatever new is happening, you can discover it here. Okay. Now, establishing data source page. During analysis, we can make changes to Tableau data source in data source page. So first step is to establish a connection between Tableau and your data source. Your data source could be an Excel sheet, it could be a text file, JSON file, Microsoft X, any of these, and you can directly connect your Tableau to server as well. Okay. Now, once you have done that, you enter the workbook. This is how your workbook area looks like. Okay. So this is a sample superstore data. Okay. Now, connected data source. So here it is showing the connected data source. So it has pulled in all the information from the Excel sheet. What does this show? display information about how the data source is set up and options for combining data. So here the two things that we have to pay attention is that is it a live connection or an exact extract connection. These are the two things that we have to ensure. We need to check that are we connected live to the data or we are extracting it and keeping it. Okay. Now coming to our data grid. This is data grid. So here you see the main data of all of the Excel sheet which has been pulled into Tableau environment. So from all the rows and columns are here from your order ID, order date, ship mode, customer name. So all data has been fetched into your Tableau environment. You can see the data in Tableau. Okay. Now, so so what we have studied till now, we have understood what is Tableau. Okay, introduction to Tableau, how you can install Tableau. Okay, so you can go ahead and install Tableau public, and as you all are students, you can try it for student version as well. It is available for a year, it's for free, and you will also get access to Tableau Creator. Okay, then Tableau environment. This is how the start page looks like. Then how you pull in a file, how you get the data into Tableau environment, and this is how your data is represented in Tableau. Okay, now Tableau UI and components and terminologies. This is very important to understand. The Tableau user interface consists of menus, a toolbar, data pane, cards and shelves, and one or more sheets. Sheets can be worksheets, dashboards, or stories. Okay. So on the top, you can see this is your menu bar. Okay. So this is your menu. So like any other software, it has files, data, worksheet, dashboard, story analysis, map. So all these have different options. Then this is your Tableau start page. If you want to go to the Tableau start page, then you click on this link. Oh, sorry, on this logo. This is the Tableau logo. Okay. Once you click here, you will go to this page. This is your Tableau start page. Okay. Now, and this is your toolbar. All the different tools are here to take actions. I'm so sorry. Now, this is your shelves and cards. This is your visualization pane. So here, this is the area wherein you pull your information and it gets represented here, this plain area. You drag any field and then it comes here. And these are your dimension and measures. So, so from that data, you remember this data. So how Tableau operates is that once first step is you open Tableau. You second step is that you bring your data into Tableau environment. Third, fetch the data from here from connection source to your workbook. Okay, once you fetch it in workbook and then next you start working with the data. So once you start working with the data, the Tableau divides your data into two parts, dimensions and measures. Okay, so all your qualitative data is termed as dimensions and all your quantitative data is your measures. Okay. I hope it's clear till here. Okay. So moving on. Again, before we move on, it is important to understand shelf and cards. This area represent your shelves and cards. Now, so this is your toolbar. Now, how your dimension and measures are represented here in the visualization area. And this is the show me panel. It is a very important aspect of Tableau because all your graphs and charts are here at show me panel. Okay. So let me just open a notepad. Great. Okay. Can you guys see the notepad? So step one is to install W. Step two, connect your data source. Step three, okay. Okay. So step one is to install Tableau. Step two is to connect your data source. It could be an Excel sheet. It could be any data on the server. Then fetch data in Tableau environment. Fetch data in the worksheet. And then you start working on the data. Okay. Any questions till now? Okay. So can you see the screen? I'm gonna pause it because I already have it. So this is how your page will look like when you go and install Tableau. So just go to Google and type Tableau public, and it will start downloading automatically. So don't do it right away because at times your system asks it um, for a restart, or Tableau all of a sudden starts the window itself. So we'll just take a break, and then in the break, if you want, you can, those who have your laptop can instantly download download Tableau public. Okay, and then further I'm also gonna show you the environment once I complete the presentation quickly. Okay, so as I was showing you, let me, this is how the website is. You can give your email here and download the Tableau app, start using it. So guys, let's take a 15 minutes break here, and let's come back at 12, and then we'll continue the session.